Bismillah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم تسليما. الحمد لله وكفى والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, I seek refuge in Allah from the rejected shaitan. May Allah bless our master, Sayyidina Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his family, companions, and give them peace. All praise is due to Allah, for he is sufficient for us. Peace be upon his slaves, whom he has chosen. Rabbish rahli sadari wa yassirli amri wahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Ameen. Welcome to the Half Your Deen show, and literally is half. My other half is not here. Then we got this severe alert up to 10:30. I was trying to delay it, but it was so bad the lights had went out real quick, shut everything down. So I'm like, okay, let me delay it a little more, just so that we can still have a show tonight. So if my lights go out, we'll just have to shut it down until next week, inshallah. Alhamdulillah. And now I ain't gonna tell you the other part. I'm gonna let my partner tell you the other part while we starting at 8:30. It's his fault. So let me go through the list. Wa alaikum salam to Barakatuh, Dija, Sister Sakina, Brother Idris, Brother Farouk, Sister Fatima, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. So this show was inspired by Brother Farouk, Alhamdulillah. So Brother Farouk is our guest. He is our guest. Mashallah. Look at the Imam's face. Guess what he was doing? Guess what he was doing?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam to Barakatuh. You see his puffy face, right? He was sleeping, y'all. I'm spilling the beans. He was sleeping. He was sleeping. Oh, I said, where are you? Yeah, he looked tired and grumpy. So, alhamdulillah, the storm came and he in slumber, like as though he was listening to the storm that we were having here. Give the brother some coffee. Yeah, he needs some tuba coffee. That's what they like.
Cafe tuba.
Cafe tuba. Mashallah.
Some attire.
Yep, attire will definitely wake you up. Alhamdulillah. So did you want to say anything before we start?
No.
Not at all. I know you're not. Shoot. You think you slick. Brother Farouk, I'm putting you out there. Brother Farouk, are you able to come on this podcast? Are you in the condition, presentable to come on here? Because I will invite you. Wa alaikum salam talabikatu, Brother Yahya and Sister Jamila.
That's my Farouk. Is he in the
Yeah, do he got
condition?
his suit on?
He on a grill with a suit on. He probably go to sleep with a suit on. He probably brush his teeth in the morning with a suit on.
Wa alaikum salam talabikatu. He said, got to get dressed right. See? Oh, you slacking, Brother Farouk. You slacking. I got to get your emails. Sister Rakaya, send me an email so I can send you this invite. But we're going to start the show in the meantime. Inshallah. So don't take too long, brother. He said pajama suit. I said pajama suit. Oh, matter of fact, I'm just going to send it to Sister Rakaya. Hold on, y'all. See here. Hold on 1 second. Send this link. Oh.
You hear that? That's how I woke up. If it wasn't for that, I'd still be sleeping.
Oh no, I sent the link to the wrong Rakaya. I sent it to my daughter. Hold on, wrong Rakaya. Hold on, y'all. Oh, let's see here. Why is this thing taking so long? There we go. All right, sister. I sent you this link for your husband to come on in. Alhamdulillah. Too many babies. Oh, okay. You want me to email it to you? Hold on. Let's see here. All right. How am I going to do this here? Hold on. Yeah, see, Brother Farouk just think he was just going to make a suggestion. We have a sunnah here. When you make a suggestion, you got to follow through on that suggestion, whatever it is. That's how we roll here. Subhanallah. All right, I had to get the. I'm gonna take it. I had to go get this right here. Oh goodness gracious! Oh no. When you want to do something, it's like your computer just want to go really, really slow, like a toad, like a turd. I'm almost there. I'm about to send it to you. All right, 2 and 2. Sister Rakaya, if you want to come on too, you are welcome as well. Not trying to put y'all on the spot, but let's see here. There we go. There we go. All right. How's everybody doing? I just sent the email out to you too. Alhamdulillah, Allah is most merciful. Alhamdulillah, we are here again together. The full Deen show, mashallah. Wa alaikum salam to the. Oh, you're unable to come? Okay, mashallah. Sister Fatima trying to she taking shots at me, and my husband know about it too. You know, I'll be having like a bunch of tabs open now. You know I'm good for that, right? Alhamdulillah. So alhamdulillah. So, alhamdulillah, here. Am I frozen? Anybody? Or I'm cool. I can't tell.
Man, come on, let's go, man.
Well, you opening up the show. Walaikum salam to Nabi Brother Isa. Thank you for joining us. You're opening up the show. Do you know that, right? I'm putting you on the spot, too.
What's up? Man, you know I'm trying to wake up.
Okay. Tonight's show, as you seen the title, hīʻpərɡəmē, right? Hīʻpərɡəmē. I didn't know nothing about that term up until last week when we were together, which was a suggestion of our brother Farouk Thomas. Let me see here. Wa alaikum salam to Nabi Brother Hussein. So I'm not sure why he wanted to talk about that topic, but hīʻpərɡəmē, yes. You could say it in different ways. Hīʻpərɡəmē, different ways. It was another way that I heard someone say it. So this term, just blanket term, is when someone wants to marry up, meaning they want to marry someone that's not in their social status or below them. Wa alaikum salam to Nabi Fatima. So that's what hīʻpərɡəmē is referring to. But it's more specific or geared to women doing this. Not so much the man, but the women. And so I wanted to show a correlation of this in the Sunnah, in the Sirah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Do you have any idea how this would fit into the Sirah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? My dear brother, Imam. Brother Imam.
Alhamdulillah. Just off the top of my head, you have a number of women who offered themselves to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that's marrying up, you know.
But another situation, specific situation, not indirectly related to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Can you guess?
No.
His wife, Zainab bin Jaysh. Remember? She was married to Zayd ibn Haritha. She married down, right?
Right.
He married up, right? And so the complaint for her from her, because the Prophet ﷺ suggested that they get married, right? The complaint was coming from her and her brother that they're from a noble family. You know, like they didn't agree with her marrying down to Zayd, right? And so, wa alaikum salam to Nabi Kat, alhamdulillah. Thank you for joining us, alhamdulillah. So, because of this, Allah revealed a verse in Quran, Surah 33, Ayat 36. What did Allah say? Do you remember?
No.
Okay, alhamdulillah. I see what you're doing. All right. Allah says in the translation is that, and it is not open for a believing man or a believing woman once Allah and His Messenger have decided a thing, that they should have a choice about their matter. And whoever disobeys Allah and His Messenger, sallallahu subhanahu wa ta'ala, he indeed gets off the track, falling into an open error. This was an admonishment towards her, Zainab, may Allah be pleased with her, and her brother. And so once that verse was revealed, both of them retracted their rejection. We got to remember, we're not like, we need to emulate the Sahabas, you know, and the Sahabiyat. When there was a command given, they didn't question it. They didn't hem and haw about it or anything like that. Somebody tell us, you know, give us nasiha or, you know, try to direct us in a certain way. We asking a million questions we, hemming and hawing, we're not having a good opinion, and you think that, we know best of our situation. Sometimes we don't. And it's a need for someone to allow you to see from a different perspective that you don't see. You see from one lens, but someone comes around and, show you another, right? May Allah be pleased with Zayd and Zainab, who were two beloved ones to Al-Mustafa, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Yes. And alhamdulillah, wa alaikum salam to barakatuh, Sister Jamila and Brother Levon, if I hadn't given you the greetings. And so, this was an honor. Think about Zayd ibn Haritha. He was the only one out of all the Sahabas and Sahabiyats that were named in the Quran. He was given that honor. So, really, she wasn't marrying down. He was the first Muslim male in the family, right? He was part of the household of Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So you see how, through a lens, she's of nobility, and she was just looking one way when this person was of a high status, and she didn't even recognize it, nor her brother. Wa alaikum salam to barakatuh, Brother Farouk, mashallah. So we have to be careful, when we try to, apply certain things like this topic. I'm really interested in how, where Farouk wanted to take this, but is it bad that you want to marry up or marry someone that's not in your same social status? Don't you want to have, don't you want, good for yourself and your future and your children and things like that? Social status can be very deceiving and overlooking righteousness. Exactly. You may be overlooking something. I was describing last week. Someone that seems to be unattractive, yet they were of good character, they're a good person, and because you appreciate them, Allah makes them beautiful. Allah, increases them. They haven't changed, but just your perception of them has changed. MashaAllah, you have something to add? You woke up now?
Can it apply to someone who has money or is just a high achiever, meaning a woman going after that type of person?
Yes, it can. Yes, it can.
So it's not necessarily restricted to a woman trying to marry outside or above her social or quote unquote social class, right?
Right. It's not limited to that. And this term, how can I say it? The way that it's used is not appropriate in the Islamic forum because it's dealing about who can get the panties faster or who can get the eggplant faster. And what's their point of getting the eggplant and how they getting the eggplant and how the person, the males, how they achieve, getting the panties or what have you. All right. So it's not appropriate Islamically. So I'm just trying to put in the Islamic form so it can be appropriate for us because we don't date. We don't sit here trying to, figure out or plan out how we're going to get, these extra, these escapades or anything like that. So, wa alaikum salam to barakatuh, Brother Baron and Sister Fatima. Can a Muslim man marry up? Naeem, what you have to say about that?
Alhamdulillah, our brother Abdul Bar, Mary, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Fatima, alhamdulillah, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can a Muslim man marry up? Of course, anybody can marry up. But I was going to say that, I was going to say that some Muslim brothers, they don't have to worry about finding someone to marry. Someone to marry will find them. Did you hear me?
Yeah.
Someone to marry will find them. And it is because of how they carry themselves. They are high achievers. They have goals. They are active. So, they're out there. And so men like that, they don't have to beg for women or hope a woman will like them. Even the mindset is different. The mindset is completely different. They choose who they want to marry. I even go a step further. Those type of brothers, when it's time to get married, when they choose someone to get married, they inform the woman that they're going to marry that they're going to marry them. My wife laughing. She started laughing.
I'm laughing too. I'm laughing too.
Well, both of y'all laughing.
Yeah.
I know two little ones who ain't laughing.
Oh,
no, seriously. Like, if you just examine Facebook, right? You generally speaking have two broad categories of men out here. Mm-hmm. You got the one who, the woman can say anything. And then here come a man. Yeah, you sure right. I know it may sound stupid, but your stupid is better than the next person's smart, right? Whatever you say gotta be good, man. Shoot. Like, sister wake up in the morning, Assalamu alaikum, good morning, Facebook family. Oh, it's a good morning now that you here, sister, right? Them type of brothers, right? They got the cape on all the time, right? I don't know what them brothers be hoping they're going to get or what they hope they're going to, right? Right. But a lot of times them brothers be like that and they be single for a long time. Like, I forgot which comedian it was, but I think it was Anthony Anderson. Like, you thought you were going to hit that? Like, you doing all that, you thought you were going to get some?
I was doing some research, and they called them. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So that's one type of brother.
Okay.
And then you have another type of brother who ain't necessarily sweating women or sisters. He's doing what he's doing, whatever he's about. He's about whatever he's about. Women come to him. Women come checking for that type of brother because he's about something. He's about something, whatever it is. He may have a business. He may be an imam. He could be, I don't know. I just woke up. My mind ain't working fast. He's about something, right? So those two type of brothers, they operate different and they move different, and they I'm frozen? Can you hear me? I look frozen over here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I'm thinking you right here. I hear you. You're not frozen on this end.
Okay. Oh, there I go. Alhamdulillah. Those two types of men, they don't operate in the same circles. They move different. And women ain't even really attracted to that first type. He gets, he gets a lot of likes because, because the sisters know that whatever she say, the brother's going to agree with him, right? Get a lot of likes, but those likes don't translate to nothing. He ain't gonna get none. he Muslim. He ain't gonna get married like that.
What you described?
Fatima said, "How can you be frozen in Gambia?"
I put 2 terms up here. You described 2 terms that I was researching regarding the type of males that are out there. These are the main ones: the beta male and the alpha male. And the beta males are the ones that women don't really want to be with. They're like a second thought. They want an alpha male because he represents things that she is attracted to. He represents strength, masculinity. Usually these males, they are hard workers. They're usually, somebody on a certain social status, a high social status than them. Okay.
Who are you talking about right now? The alpha?
The alpha, yes.
Okay.
And these type of males, women will compromise for. So that means he don't have to have everything all together. Just because he's an alpha, she's willing to do whatever to be with him. Just like we would say, you have some sisters, they have a problem with polygyny, right? And they fighting and, having all types of, objection to it. But then when she finds herself single and cannot find a man, guess what's her first option for marriage? Somebody bring it up. Polygyny. Do she turn it down? No. Right?
Yeah. Or if she runs into, like, for example, like people always on the internet arguing about dowries, right? Like in our community, we had the $5,000, dowry discussion, right? Every alpha know that don't mean nothing when a woman meets an alpha. You got to remind the woman that she be like, I don't need no dowry. Like, no, Islam, I got to give you something, sister, right? Because she'll change up all of the stuff she argued about on the stat or on the platform. She'll change all that when she meet an alpha. I ain't going with no polygamy. She'll be happy for polygyny.
Yeah.
I want $10,000 dowry. She'll be happy with that $100. Right?
SubhanAllah. So until we're gonna wait for Farouk to come and join us. So this marriage that the Prophet ﷺ put together, he paid the dowry of this marriage between Zainab and Zayd. It was 10 dinars, 60 dirhams, 1 beast of burden, couple of pair of ladies' dresses, and 15 muds of flour and 10 muds of dates. This is related by Ibn Kathir. Alhamdulillah.
Farouk. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Alhamdulillah.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah. How about yourself? Imam, Samira, how are you?
Good. Alhamdulillah.
You caught me off guard on this one.
I said, he think he's slick. He gonna put that idea out here and not follow through it. No, sorry. So
this is for y'all. I want to hear y'all cover this.
See, we didn't have any clue about this term, so you're gonna have to school us. Like, what made you suggest this topic, and what angle are you coming from when you mention this?
Okay, all right. So it's a lot how you described it. 1 second. It's a lot how you described it. What made me come across the topic was some of the circles, some of the speakers in which I listened to, just hearing it in coming across my timeline and noticing it when I'd read other people's posts and comments. They were not necessarily using the term, but you could see is what I would call is manifestation, right? So hypergamy to me means, in the modern term, it is trying to think of a way to say it. It is a woman's not likelihood, but her natural, sort of like a natural selection. It's her natural inclinations to upgrade for a better lifestyle, a better husband, a better social status, right? It is a natural inclination. It's almost like something in which is innate in her. Now, it could be for good, it could be for bad. She can use her powers for good or powers for evil, especially if she's cognitive of it, right? Just like a woman's feminine powers, right? She can use it for good or for evil. But it's one of those things which I think men, especially men, need to be aware of it. Right?
And why should they be aware of it?
Because if men allow themselves to think that they are doing their best or being the best, and fall asleep on the wants and desires of their wives, they might find themselves by themselves, you know, or you might find yourself with a woman or wife who has in her mind already a plan B for this relationship.
We see a lot of that. That's true.
A contingency plan, right? A contingency plan.
Contingency plan before the nikah even happens. You already know.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
If this don't work out, then I such and such, he want me. I know he want me.
Right, right. And I would say also for women, sometimes women may not know that this is sort of intrinsic in their nature. They're just simply I don't know. You see it in a lot of the culture nowadays, rap music culture, or just the regular culture out here now, where women are sort of trying to play the same games that men play or have played, but they're not good at it, and they wind up in the long run causing more damage to themselves than anything else, trying to play a man's game when they're not really built for that. So hypergamy can go both ways, and it's important. I think it's important that both sides should know about it. Just like the nature of men, there's certain natures of men that women need to understand and accept, because we still men. We're not going to change.
So is it hypergamy that makes, for example, the women want to marry the athlete or the entertainer? You know, would you consider that part of, you know?
Yeah. That's a natural innate thing. Going from the regular Tyrone to LeBron, you know, wanting that. And it can lead to a lot of problems in relationships, especially outside of Islam. Now, inside of Islam, it's still prevalent. It's still here, because we got to understand that the majority of us are converts. And as converts, we came in with a lot of baggage that some we knew, some we did not know. And we have to slowly, you know, try to exercise those things, or at least have someone that can challenge those ideas. You may not know that, you know, you're operating this way. You may, as a woman, you may not know you operating very masculine. Likewise for the brothers, you may not know that you operating very feminine, right? Sisters don't want that, and the brothers don't want that. But I get most of my pushback. Shout out to Khadija. I get a lot of pushback from Khadija. I get a lot of my pushback from the sisters, and I'm really not trying to be against them or fighting against them. I'm not antagonistic to the sisters. I really want the best for them. But the things that I say, it can be kind of blunt. It can be kind of blunt.
Well, speaking of Sister Khadija, she said, do you believe that there are some things about men that women will never understand and vice versa? If so, what are some of those things? That's an excellent question.
Yeah, I would say this. Men are pretty simple. All men have common denominators about us. You know, there's certain particular, there's certain quirks about us that are a little bit different. I'm different from Imam Naeem, but me and him, we have some very common main denominators, right? Eat, sleep, and a sandwich, pretty much it. Can a woman truly know a man? I would say it's easier for a woman to know a man fully than it's ever for a man to truly know a woman, right? Each woman prides herself on being different. You cannot liken her to the next one or the last one. She is uniquely different. So therefore, I suggest to the brothers that you study up on womanese and learn how to speak it.
Mashallah. Let's see here.
I hope that answers the question. I know she will follow up.
He said, I know the brother Nasui defeated Imam Amin in the round table first. Your wife said, we as women seek different things from men. We like men of high social status. High social status sort of equates to high financial status, while correlates to high levels of knowledge. Walaikum salam to barakatuh, brother Dr. Sabir. Yeah. I wanted to ask of you two, is this something, there was a survey, and it was ranking from 1 to 10, and I want the audience to join in as well and let me know if they agree. Now, as far as for males, what they prefer from a woman is number 1, kindness and understanding, 2, intelligence, and tell me if something needs to be on the bottom of the list or top of the list. Physical attractiveness, that was 3. Exciting personality, 5. Good health, well, it's 13. I'm sorry, I can't even count. Adaptability is 6. Creativity is 7. 8 is desire for children. 9, college graduate. 10, good heredity. 11, good earning capacity. 12, good housekeeper. And 13, religious orientation.
Okay. Yeah. Do
you think, now with that religious orientation, I don't know why that would be on the bottom of the list for a Muslim man. Yeah. So you know.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to answer that question as it relates to a Muslim man in general, and in specific me. And I'm sure Imam Naeem and the other brothers watching, they could be able to answer the question as well. I would say what's at the bottom of the list. The bottom of the list is a woman's income as it relates to a Muslim man, because by the Sharia, the woman's money is her money, right? Her money is her money, and we have no right to it. Whatever she gives, we are thankful for it. So as brothers, we learn the art of appreciation and not anticipation. So if you're looking to take a wife or be Captain Save them, you make sure that you can save them. All right. No one enjoys struggle love, neither brothers nor sisters. Okay. The others that were on the list, I would say, in general and in principle, it is true. They're all true. Now, the order of the list might be different for different brothers, but all of them I think are important for brothers. Now, personally, for myself, I like intelligence. Once we set aside the those that goes without question. You don't have to ask. Muslim, she has to be a Muslim first, and her Islam and her Deen and whatnot. For me, I like intelligence, and it's sort of a confession of myself. I myself am sapiosexual. So I like intelligence in a woman that can hold a conversation. I'm not talking about agree with everything that I say, but can have an intelligent conversation. And I like that. I like that about a woman.
And that's your wife. So you pick good. You married
I do too, Farouk.
Yeah. Okay then.
A woman that can intelligently contribute to a conversation. Exactly. And a lot of people don't know how hard that is to find.
Yeah. Yeah. There's this might flame up the comment section. A lot of women can talk. A lot of women can talk, and this is not a knock against the sisters, but the male and female brains operate differently. So when it comes to logic, and all the different aspects of logic and all the fallacies and ways of understanding things, men and women are different. Now, that doesn't mean that she can't hold a conversation. I think what Imam Naeem means is that a woman that can talk about contemporary issues, a woman that no matter where we go together or wherever we are, we can speak, we can talk. You can drop her in any situation and she can have a conversation about anything, ebb and flow, and it doesn't feel like you just rowing the boat in the conversation.
Yeah, that's frustrating. I know that could be frustrating for a man. I can't imagine not being able to hold a decent conversation, and even though we may not agree, just the fact that we're having a conversation, deviling to your thinking. I want to know what you're thinking, and you want to know what I'm thinking. You know what I mean? Whether you agree with me or not is, far from the point. It's not the point. It's just that, she's able to think for herself. Because there's some men that are satisfied that they women don't think. There have been brothers that says, she thinks what I think. What kind of mess is that?
Yeah.
She thinks what I think. She likes what I like.
Mm-hmm.
What about her? She has a mind of her own. Allah created her mind for her. So you got the brain of both people. You got the,
Samira, I'll ask you the question though. Well, now if that's sort of his preference in a woman that doesn't speak, then I don't have a problem so much for it. I mean, she's maybe not my cup of tea, but if you're talking about suppressing a woman's speech, now that's something different.
That's what I'm talking about. Suppressing her speech.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some men may not want their women to be a certain way, be out there. That's fine. Mm-hmm. But if you don't know what she's thinking, she may be planning an escape or planning to kill you. You don't know the difference, right? Because you done took all the way to the line, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't allow her to express herself or, anything. She may be planning your demise and you don't even know it because you don't care. You like her quiet. So for the women, I wanted to ask in our audience, it says the preference for a female is kindness and understanding first, intelligence, exciting personality, 4, good health, 5, adaptability, 6, physical attractiveness, 7, creativity, 8, good earning capacity. So this is not even number 1 on the last. A college graduate, desire for children, good heredity, good housekeeper, and last, unfortunately, religious orientation. I don't like that. So for both, this poll, religion was last. Their Deen was last.
Yeah, that I guess that's not our fault. If they would have polled our community, things would have been a little bit different. They
Yeah,
would
mashallah.
they would have
Yeah.
had to come to our massages and find out what's the difference between us and them, because we're not the same.
We're not the same, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, yeah. I just put Imam Amin's joke up there.
Tell
Yeah.
them to put in the cooler.
Yeah, Latif. I see him. I see him. Yeah.
SubhanAllah. Imani says she needs to know how to maneuver and feel a vibe. I feel she also carries a large part of integrity in the relationship. What you think about that?
I do. I do. The wife is a reflection of her husband, and likewise, her husband is a reflection of the wife. So when she looks good, he looks good, and when he looks good, she looks good. They both need to carry themselves with integrity, honesty, and not just only for themselves, their household, but for the Muslim Ummah as well. That's why I always make it a point whenever I'm out with my wife, right? I always look like I deserve her company. Right. So one of my pet peeves is I cannot stand when brothers be out with their wives and in hijab, jababs, just dressed properly, and they're wearing shorts and a t-shirt. I can't stand it. I can't stand it because it sends the wrong messages to the non-Muslims and the Muslims as well. Like, it makes the sisters look bad, not for anything in which they're doing per se, but just the optics of it. That's my problem. But I think it's a good point, Amira.
MashaAllah.
Mary.
Hold on. I'm going to give you that information, Sophia. It was one of these, articles I was reading. MashaAllah. Let me look through this thing here. Now, for me, money is not first, but I would say, and it's not even on that list, I would say integrity is one. Another thing that's not on the list, because some of these things is like.
So when you say money is not first, you mean for you or
for me?
Okay, all right.
For you specifically, he doesn't have to be rich. That's not the motivating factor. Like he has to be a certain high social status. I'd rather not, because the more money you have, more problems, right? The more problems you have, right, with that, because he's going to have trust issues. Is she really with me for me, or is she with me for the money, right? And it wouldn't work out because I'm still trying to prove myself that I'm with you for you when I'm really there for you, but it's kind of hard. Not everybody's like that, but that's not a preference. But he would have to, integrity. Of course, he has to fear Allah, because if you fear Allah, you're going to treat me right. That's how I see it. You're going to do your best to honor me, not dishonor me, and do your best. That's how I feel. That's why I said it's not important, because you want to get it.
What's your position on struggle marriages?
What you mean by struggle marriage? Dependent.
Okay. Well, we both know going into a marriage as Muslims, the brother is obligated with the to cover the bills, the mandatory necessary bills, and we're going to leave the wants to the side, but just the obligatory bills as far as maintenance of the wife and the household. Now, you spoke about for yourself, money was not an issue, but when you say that, I want to ask the question: is money, when you say that, is that entirely true?
No, it's not saying that it's not important. It's definitely important, but you can have money and the brother be jacked up. The brother could have Deen and money and no integrity, no fear of Allah. You understand? So it depends on that combination. So.
But income is important.
It is important, but it's not. How can I say it? It's not It's not the motivate. Like, I'm not going to be like the brothers. Like my husband right here. He says all the time, I'm the brokest brother in the planet. Right?
Don't believe him. Don't believe him. Don't believe him.
What'd you say?
East Coast. Brokest brother on the East Coast.
He's capping. He's capping.
He said he was, and that didn't turn me off because at the time I was a new Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
And I had my motivation was to learn my Deen. It seriously was. I wanted, because I had no knowledge of the Deen. And I had my own money. I was already, it wasn't a factor, you know, but that didn't stop me. That didn't like turn me off like, oh, he ain't got no money, never mind. He can't teach me nothing. So it depends on the people. Now, when you say struggle marriage, like as far as like the woman is carrying the weight and he's not doing his part, or you talking about like that and she's waiting on him?
Yeah, I'm talking about I'm just strictly talking about financial.
Financial?
Yeah.
It's depending on the setup. It might be something temporary.
Could he still be the head of the household if you have a part-time job and he has you have a full-time job and he has a part-time job?
It's got to be very temporary.
Okay. All right. So finances is important.
Yeah, it is important. It's temporary. Yeah.
All right.
Now, if that's that's how the marriage look on the whole, and that's how it is. No, I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay. All right. All right.
Rakaya said physical appearance is important.
Then to add.
It is important. What y'all say, sisters? Does the looks matter? I've heard sisters that say I like them black and ugly. I don't know what that means. I like them black or ugly.
They cap. Let's just be honest. They capping too. Looks are important. It's important to men, very important to men, and it's also important to women. Quiet as kept. Sisters would like to stay on code and say what you just said, but it's important to them. It's so important to them that they put up obstacles between them and brothers that brothers cannot do anything about. So when sisters say, I'm not going to date a man or marry a brother who's shorter than 6 feet. Now, there's absolutely nothing a brother can do about that. But as soon as a brother say, if I can't carry you, if I can't carry you, I won't marry you. Now we have problems. Brothers have preferences as well, right? And sisters can be pretty blunt about their preferences and what they want. And so appearances do matter. Brothers, sisters, they do matter, and they should be recognized. They should be let's bring it out on the table and just say, hey, this is what it is. If you want to marry in 2021 and the years going forward, you need to understand women. You need to learn how to speak women need. And sisters, y'all need to begin to understand brothers. I say begin.
Imam, you about to say something, Imam?
No, I was about to say I think somebody beat me to it. Issa beat me to it. Black and ugly as ever. However, I say
yeah.
Wa alaikum salam to Abdul.
Now, Imam, you make the Issa and Imam, you make that reference, right? Biggie Small can only make that reference if hīʻpərɡəmē didn't exist. If hīʻpərɡəmē existed, I should say. So beyond his appearance, his finances, right, raises his status, and naturally for survival. Well, the woman's natural instinct as far as survival and her natural disposition in a non-modern world would have her go to a man that could provide. So when you say black is ugly as ever, right? Yeah, that is true. That is true. That is true. That's true.
Wa alaikum salam to Brother Kenny. Alhamdulillah. Zubaydah said looks are important. I don't want to keep my eyes closed but for so long.
I want to bring out one point about hīʻpərɡəmē, right? when it comes to hypergamy in women, and when I say women, I'm Muslim, non-Muslim, and I understand Muslim women live by a different discipline than non-Muslim women. But just to say this in general, when it comes to hypergamy, women, and this is just my thoughts, women, when it comes to looks, women will either subconsciously or consciously constantly look for the better brother or man, right? So when we talk about look, yeah, she recognizes a better looking man. She probably won't say anything, but when she was single or on the market, she's looking for the best of the best. Whereas brothers, she's looking for a 10 in a man. Brothers, we're fine with a 5 or a 6. We're good. We're good. As long as she has the other attributes in which we like, we're good. Because we have a certain amount of self-awareness about ourselves. We don't go around thinking that we are 10s or we are the table. Brothers wrestle with one another as far as their status in the society, or who's the fastest on the team or the highest jumper. So we know where we stand. So when I see another good-looking brother, hey, the brother looks good, you know. And back in the day at the club, we know who could pull who, right? You either use that brother that can pull sisters, pull women at the bar, or use that brother that could only pull women at the restroom. One or the other. Right? One or the other. You were either gone and left the club early with a woman that you picked up, or you waited to the last minute and got what was left, right? So, but for women, on the other hand, their evaluation of themselves a lot of times they skew it by listening to their other sisters and female friends, right? And it can be a little off. But hypergamy overrides all of that. They still have expectations on what they should actually have.
What do you, ma'am, talk about?
Keep coming to.
What is he talking about?
I don't know exactly. Block him. Block him. Block him. That's a troll.
Oh,
He's trolling. He's trolling me.
we got a troll, y'all. We got a troll.
We got a troll. Yeah. You remember me? You can hit all you want. It's summer. I need a couple new fans.
But in Islam, there's a term called kafa'a. You ever heard of that, Imam? Kafa'a.
Compatibility.
Right. Mm-hmm. So not only, the Deen, you're both Muslim, and alhamdulillah, y'all both know the Deen, but that don't mean that you're compatible. If you're not compatible, you're less likely to give that person their rights without some pushback. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's why you don't have to marry everybody that come across your way. You have to be scrupulous. You got to, because some people feel like they got marry just anybody that come in front of them. No, you gotta. That's why you have sit downs. You introduce yourselves and interview one another. And get a feel of somebody, because sometimes things don't match up, and that things aren't matching up from the get. It's just something that you get a feeling of. But some of us say, well, they'll change.
Right.
You can't change nobody at all unless they want to change. That's what you're getting. And if you can't handle that, don't bother having to go through that. Right? Mm-hmm. I did want to mention about this hypergamy. Hypergamy, right? Mm-hmm. Hypergamy.
Just beat it all up. Hyper whatever it is.
Hypergamy, right?
By the time we finish the show, she's going to call it hypertension.
So, now, the negative side of that, women trying to marry a man for higher social status, that they do it in a fraudulent manner. I was listening to a podcasts to the extent that women go through to catch a man. That they were peddling pregnancy tests on Craigslist for like $200 to women to get the man to marry her. Right now, you know, some men don't care about children, right? Some of them like, oh, you had care of my baby, and no, we're not condoning premarital sex. This is non-Muslims, evidently, but you trapping a person. Like, how can you live with yourself? You know, doing that. Like, as a woman, I could never stoop down so low just to catch somebody so that I could secure my future through this child. And it's not even have anything to do with the person themselves. Like, you don't even care about the person. You just care about what they represent or what they can give you.
Yeah.
You know?
Hyper giddy.
Hyper giddy.
Yeah. That's an important point that you bring up, Samira, because the extent of hypergamy, the crimes haven't been spoken about very much. You sort of see, you know, you here and there, you hear about certain things like that, but mostly it's usually the transgressions of men that you always hear in the news or some TV show, Maury Povich or whatever, right? It's usually the crimes of the men, but very rarely do you, I won't say rarely, not as frequent do you see these same sort of crimes, transgressions committed in the name or hypergamy forces motivating women to do such a thing, to trap men, basketball players, athletes, or just Henry, just trying to catch Henry, because Henry would be a better father to than my ex that I was still sleeping with while I was with Henry. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, and I think we just got to have these conversations on Half Your Deen Show and other platforms about these sort of ways of thinking or ideals as converts that we just unknowingly bring with us into Islam. And let me also add this: even the born Muslims in our communities, these ideas permeate even amongst our own children because they're in the society. They're here. There's no getting around it. So, you know, we got to just bring it out on the table. And if it causes some people to be uncomfortable, then oh well, it is what it is.
So I have now when selecting a mate, right? When selecting a mate, as far as the man, right? The woman selecting the male. And this is again from this poll: good financial resources or prospects, social status, slightly older, ambitious and industriousness, size, strength, athletic ability, and intelligence. That's something that women hypergamy looks for, right?
Good.
Now, are you gonna get that? Sisters, do you think you're gonna get that at like a certain age? Like, what age you think you have a chance of finding that? Let me ask you,
Samira, do you co-sign that? Do you say yeah, that's correct?
No, the social status. I'm not.
Now you married to the Imam.
Yeah, I am.
Like me.
Right?
He's not like me.
Yeah.
I'm just a regular dude. The Imam is you married to the Imam.
Yes, I'm married to the Imam. I'm just looking at it from a sister's point of view. He's intelligent, alhamdulillah, right?
No, we were stuck on social status.
Oh, social status?
Yeah. He's in a different social class.
If that doesn't motivate me, he could be just a regular brother in the masjid, as long as he's doing the work. Like some women, that motivates them. Like that's like a aphrodisiac. Oh, he's a leader. I gotta get him. There's some women that pursue leaders just for that.
Right.
You know?
And that's true. You acknowledge that, right? Women do like power.
Yes,
so
they
when
do.
you met Imam Naeem, did you see his potential? Did you see that he went from being a talib to ustad yeah, he's now under the wings of this imam. And did you see his potential in him?
No, I looked at him. I wasn't even looking that far. I was too young. I was in my early 20s.
All right. I give you a pass. All right. I give you a pass.
Yeah, I wasn't even looking that deep. I ain't gonna lie.
All right. But women are attracted. I think you agree. Women are attracted to power, to social status. And when I say this, it doesn't mean that the man has to be a king, but he at least has to be a king amongst kings. He has to be recognized amongst his peers. Imam Naim is recognized amongst his peers, and it's foolish of myself as well as yourself to think that another sister would not consider him,
right?
As a husband,
right? True.
All right. That's right. You heard that, Samira?
True.
now leave me alone about what I be doing in my inboxes, all right? Don't ask me about that.
I agree. Social status never meant anything to me. Like, if I was a man of a certain, I'll be so paranoid. Like, why do you want me? Like, if I didn't have none of this, if nobody knew my name, would you still be pursuing me the way you are right now? You know what I mean? Like, I would be very like looking at him like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Some brothers like that. They love some women, so it won't bother them. Oh yeah, she want me? Okay, alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Well, like the cat to the idol.
Yeah. Every pretty flower is not for your bouquet.
She would have always wanted me because I was destined to shine. So there's no way around it. There's no way around it.
Right. That's right. That's right. Samira was choosy, right? She was,
Oh my goodness.
It was tough in season. I know.
She talking all that stuff, right? But she left out the part where she would hear my clip bars on tapes. And she actually verbalized and said that, who's that brother? I would love to marry a brother like that. So you left that part out, but we ain't gonna say nothing, right? She was too young. She wasn't thinking about that.
And it's just a coincidence. She wanted to learn her Deen. Now she could have got Rodney and learned her Deen from, but she didn't get Rodney, right? She chose Imam Naim, right? And it's okay. It's okay, Samira. It's okay. I don't have a problem with that. I don't think you have a problem with that.
Now, all right, men able.
Man, you got to watch how these sisters change the narrative up on you. Right?
They will. Allen Iverson crossover on you. They will.
I let her thought she got away with it for a minute, but
anyway, are men able to, or can women depend on, when selecting a mate, dependability and emotional stability, love and commitment cues, positive interactions with children? Now, when a woman search for a mate, how successful will she be with being with someone like this, whether she have children or not?
Okay, all right.
Because some men are not emotionally dependable. They're very. Can you explain? Do you know anything about that? Like, why some men are like they can't relate emotionally to their wives?
It could be from how they were raised in the and just never learned women per se, right? So because we got a generation, we got two generations. We got this past generation and this generation that's coming up that have their understanding of relationships and how they should go and relating to one another. It's like it's like they have like zero social skills when dealing with a woman, right? And they really need to take it old school. So any brother, I would say any brother that's interested in a woman and she has children, that brother needs to be mentored and to make sure that he's emotionally mature to handle that situation and to handle a woman, period. Because women are complex. I'm not gonna lie. They're smarter than us. right? They're smarter than us, but the problem is that they don't know their potential. That's what I
agree.
They don't know their potential.
I agree.
They're smarter than us because we're simple.
Mm.
Men can be difficult and complex. Rukiah deals with a lot, dealing with me.
I know she do.
Yeah, she been growing.
That's why you better treat my sister right.
I got her.
Alhamdulillah.
To help you, ma'am Naeem, if you say something, I need some help.
It's funny because I was listening to
people.
I was listening to this speaker. He wrote a book called The Rational Man. His name is Rollo Tomasi. I think that Rollo Tomasi. And it's like a self-help book for men, like how to be a man. So he made a correlation between hīʻpərɡəmē and the menstrual cycle of a woman. He actually broke it down like when the woman is on. I was like, and he said that when the woman is fertile, like ovulating, right? Mm-hmm. She's more what? More
emotional, more sensitive.
More, right? More. She's more like, I'm trying to keep it clean. She wanted, right?
Yeah. She requires more attention, more hands, right? More face time. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And he said that she don't want to be around a beta male during that time. Mm-hmm. Because at that time, she's looking for that alpha male that she think going to give her what she needs. And he don't even have to have it all. It's just the fact that the way he represent himself is good for the time period. But when she's not, and she's willing to have relations with him when she is on her thing. Mm-hmm. Like she's willing to forego that just to keep him. Like it's like, okay, do I wait or do I jump on it while I got the opportunity?
Right.
And
administration.
Yeah, and it's like, ooh, like.
Yeah, I mean, there are women out there that do say a period doesn't stop anything but a sentence. And of course, in Islam, I have a question mark. I'll wait.
I was like, wow, like to the extent that women try to secure that bag, nothing stops them, right? But when she's not during that time period, the ovulation, she's with the beta male. He's there to comfort her. Mm-hmm. But she's like thinking about the dude she was with while she was whatever. Like she's like got both worlds. And I don't recommend that, sis. Mm-hmm. Listen, that's not our nature to have multiple partners. That's not our nature. Like women are made for one man. I don't care what nobody tell you. That's unnatural to be like, a woman cannot love more than one man. Right. That's not natural. Something is abnormal if you love more than one man. We don't have the capacity. Our heart, when we get attached to one, it's hard to have other, attachments like that. That's how it used to be. I don't know about now. Am I lying, sis? Are you able to love more than one man? I'm not saying, you have feelings, or you shouldn't even have feelings with nobody else if you're married. But I'm just saying, like, how are you able to do that? Like your heart shouldn't even allow that even to exist. Mashallah. But Mary say true. Mm-hmm. And Miriam said true. Alhamdulillah. At least I know someone's like, I love him.
You're not crazy.
I love him. And then you have sisters that are intended, but then she got other intendants with that attendant. Like, it don't work that way. How you have more than one intendant? Like, what's going on?
Right.
Unless the whole gene has been activated.
Samira, you bring this up, and these sort of concepts, they got to be tested. So if even if there's no sisters that actually believe that or endorse it, we got to bring these ideas to the table because they're on the internet. They're, you know, it's on TV. Their reality shows women trying to be bosses and trying to do this and do that. We have to test. We have to really just test these concepts and put them to the test. And it only takes 30, 45 minutes to realize that, nah, it's not possible. It goes against our whole creation. It goes against our whole creation. So, like you were mentioning the example about the guy that wrote the book and made the correlation between hypergamy and the menstrual cycle of a woman, and how when she's during that ovulation, and even after the ovulation into the menstruation cycle, the expulsion of the cell, she wants an alpha, and she wants that alpha in order to pass down the alpha seed, right? That progeny, that child. The beta is just, I don't know what the beta is for. He's useless. The beta is just around just to listen to stories, reinforce negative concepts. But
he's a supporting cast.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
He's the daddy. Look, he's the daddy. So when she get pregnant by the alpha male, he ends up raising that child. Because he's not going to be there. The alpha's not going to be there. So she got to have somebody in the wing to take care of that baby.
Right.
So there was a line of some rap song where I think the person said, "How's your wife and my kids?"
Yeah. Oh, that's Houdini. That's Houdini.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why it's important for brothers. Stop simping. Stop being that beta male. It's not going to get you anywhere. Women do not find it attractive, right? You would just simply be the jump off in women's terms. She will go on to the next, and you will be sitting there wasting your time eating cereal out of a bowl and playing Xbox. You know, so don't do it. Don't do it. Stop simping. Stop simping. You know, and likewise, women.
A lot of our elders used to tell us. They used to say, you know, worry about making your money. They used to have a cute way of saying it. Like a lot of times, young men, they worry about chasing women, and you know. And then they don't chase their money. A lot of the old timers used to say, no, chase your money, then the women will chase you.
Yeah. Because you look more attractive. You look more stable, right?
Yeah.
You become, if they grew up in a household with mother and father, you become almost like their father. You become like a father figure. And women, a lot of women appreciate that. Some actually go after that, because of a longing, but they actually appreciate that. And I wanted to bring up this thing about, because you mentioned about men getting their money up, right? And that's important, and to bring up, because we need to contrast that with women. Nowadays, you hear a lot about women where their motivation is getting their money up. They spend a lot of time and they spend a lot of their youth wasting time trying to acquire money, wealth, social status, this, that, and the other, and they waste their youth and their potential in getting a husband. They do a lot of things in those years, and you can't see me. They do a lot of things in those years that really don't help them when they're married, right? Or help them in a marriage, I should say, right? You could have traveled everywhere, but how's your social skills? How good are you living with a man or being with a man long term, right? You might have had hot girl summers and had fun, and now all of a sudden you expect all the beta men that were chasing you to be there when you decide to turn around, right? And I'm gonna just put it out here. After these hot girl summers, or they've had an experience in life, some of them go to the church, some of them come to the masjid, they take shahada, Alhamdulillah, for us, their sins are forgiven. I don't know what the church does, but for us, that's my sister, that's my brother, no questions asked. But your past doesn't, your past still follows you, right? And so what I'm trying to say is that sisters, especially when they're growing up in the Deen, and sisters that come into the Deen, they need to prioritize where they want to be at in the next 10, 15 years, and set a course for their life to meet those goals, right? So if you want to be married, then work on those things as far as it's going to make you marriageable, right? To make you marriageable. Oh, that's my wife. Okay. All right. Right. And likewise with brothers. Now, brothers, on the other hand, they need to get their paper straight, because a man doesn't come into his own until he gets about 30, 35, 40. He gets up in there. That's when he reaches his stride. Then he reaches his plateau. Sisters, you cannot wait that long. You cannot wait till you 35, 45, 55 and say, okay, my paper right, now I'm ready to get married. No, it won't happen, because a man's preference will come into play now. A man's preference will come into play, and you'll be around here. What
you got to say? What you about to say? Go ahead, say it.
No, this is not cable. No.
Don't hold back,
cable.
Okay. Right. What about a sister that does that? Join forces with a brother that have the same like mind, like building together, and they're married. They really they don't really pay attention to the marriage aspect, but they're willing to okay, we know what we want to do. Do you think that's a good idea?
I think that's a good starting point, but the sister needs to understand you're not going to change the nature of the man. If you want that alpha man, quote unquote alpha man, there's some traits about him that are not going to change, regardless if he call you a partner. And that is, he wants to lead. He's going to lead. He is going to want you on in pace with him. He wants to lead the family in a direction. And really, if you cannot do that, if you don't like how you might foresee him managing the family, don't marry him. All right, because alpha, and I'm using these terms loosely, the alpha men, I won't say I won't say they are hard-headed. It's just that we're determined. We're determined. And that's nothing malicious about it. Just like it's nothing malicious about a woman who supports her husband and allows him to be the leader of the house, the head of the household, and the leader. But if you think, you'll have better luck with a beta in that trick than you will with the alpha male that you have in your mind. Yeah, you better off.
What you say, ma'am? What you got to say about that?
I agree.
Alhamdulillah. So there it is. Bam.
I also would just like to add to that, one of the things, in my opinion, that makes quote unquote alpha and alpha is that he has a vision. He's working towards something. Right. A lot of us are in survival mode. When you're in survival mode, there is no vision. You're just going from day to day. Right. And a lot of us, we haven't figured out how to get out of survival mode in order to have a vision, in order to be able to work towards something. And I think that's another thing that makes a man look more attractive to a woman. That the man is working towards something. He has a vision. And so that makes him carry himself in a certain way. You understand?
Yeah. I agree with you.
A lot of us don't talk about. A lot of people, a lot of brothers, they don't look alpha-ish because they're in survival mode. There is no vision. There is no plan. There is no direction. They just here.
Right. Right. Yeah. With an alpha male, a wife can sit him down and ask him, what's the vision for the family? And he will have, just generally speaking, he will have a 5-year, 10-year, and after that vision. Right. So
Yeah.
when I married my wife, I told her I have a vision for the family, short term and long term. She always asked me what it was. I wouldn't tell her, but I made sure that I let her know that I have a plan for you. And once we got through the bumps and I thought that she was ready to hear everything, then I gave it to her. You know, I let her know. Right. But always have a vision. Brothers, you gotta have a vision for your family, your wife. Right? Sit down with an elder brother, an older brother who has a vision, a brother that you admire, you respect, that you know like to be a family man like him, and go over these ideas. Man, we have so many things to talk about. It's not enough time, you know.
No.
And that also,
we need men mentoring men. We need sisters mentoring sisters. Man, we got a lot to talk about, man. We got a lot to
and
talk
this is
about.
also true with regards to community, right? I remember a long time ago, I was part of a community, and I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know I was about to make an enemy for life. I asked the leader what the goal was. That's all I did. And I didn't think the question was that deep. I really didn't.
Like, you're not supposed to ask no questions. You're supposed to hear and obey. That's it.
I didn't think the question was that deep. And then he gave me the answer. He was like, what you mean what the goal is? Jannah. I said, that's every Muslim's goal. Where I said, what's our path? How, as a communally speaking, what type of work are we going to put in to help us get to Jannah? Like, I mean, pray. All right. All Muslims pray, right? Right. And he couldn't answer that question. And it ain't like I asked him in front of everybody. I asked him privately, right?
Oh, that's even worse. That's even worse. He got mad at you.
Yeah.
Wow.
That person hit my guts right now.
Oh, well, may Allah soften their heart. I mean, a lot of women say they want a man to lead, and when the man takes that initiative, the ignorant, immature response of "I'm grown" comes out real quickly. They say they want alpha, but wanna reduce him to a beta. Honestly, yeah, you got some women that says that. That you do have some that says that. That's why it's so important to find out if the person has goals. There's cues that people give off that let you know if they with the shenanigans or not. There's cues. Now, people like to show their best side, try to say the best words, say exactly what the person want to hear, because it's like a performance. You get to know somebody and they just it's like they try to overcompensate. You can tell if you're paying attention, they overcompensating. But if you ask the right questions, and depending on how they answer, will give you a clue whether you're going to have issues or not. If you're going to have issues of leading. Now, all men don't know how to lead. They think leading means oppressing their wife. Literally, oppressing them. Not allowing them to have a voice. Right?
Farouk said resend a link to the email.
Okay.
Farouk,
so
how you gonna lose connection? I'm the one in Gambia.
Hold on, let me say it again. Hold on. Mashallah. We have any other comments, questions? Let me see here. Let me see if it's the same one. All right, I sent it again. Alhamdulillah. And here go the storm is coming back on this side. Hopefully my lights don't go out. I was going to say that is a masculine woman that usually fights their partner for control. I was going to say, I believe a solution to finding that partner, not finding the partner, but that compatibility, if the woman would be able to exude femininity. Like, women don't know how to be feminine. They don't know what that looks like. And for a man, a real man, that's attractive. Like, they love that. They, you don't have to do too much. Just being feminine in itself will want him to be with you, want to build with you, to spend his life with you. And so that that having, exuding that feminine energy, that right there, that's a lot in itself. That's the power that we possess. Our femininity, that right there is like kryptonite to the right brother. You have him on his knees. You have him doing anything, eating out your hands. That's how much power that don't sleep on that femininity. Let me see. What you about to say, Habibi?
And I was about to say, if some other sister got me on my knees, you know why? The femininity. Don't get mad, Habibi. You said it.
I want to. He spent all his money on it, so nothing left for the Wi-Fi. I'm looking at. Oh, let me see here. Hold on.
I'm still mad. I ain't get none of the shish kebabs that he was making at the cookout.
You still mad? Yeah. I didn't have any either. Shoot.
What you mean? You tried to give me your scraps.
I didn't have any. That's all that was given to me. I didn't even eat that because you ate it. I don't want to think all the time. Lee, make these decisions while I take a step back and watch it, Amaya. Alhamdulillah. That's right. Let a man be a man. Hussein said a lot of women are not feminine anymore. And some of them have to be taught. They have to be taught. You can't give what you don't possess. If you don't have it, you can't give it. So that what Farouk said, men have to be taught by men and women need to be taught by sisters. That is so true because we don't even know what our natural state looks like, as the gender. We don't even know what that looks like anymore because the way things going now, it's crazy.
Yeah. All right. It looks like I'm back. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Yes, sis. Yeah. Know when to get in her place. It's not demeaning. No, it's not demeaning at all. The men are meant to lead. That's their role. Allah said, "Rijala kawamuna ala nisa." They are the maintainers and protectors of women. Allah said that.
Now, what that lead looks like, that's the discussion we need to have. He's not supposed to lead. It's not meaning to be like Pharaoh on the wife. and at the same time, he can't go to the other extreme where everything is halal and he has no backbone and he's just really there to take out trash and kill roaches, right? No, he can't be that. He can't be that type of brother either because he gonna get ostracized when he comes to the masjid. Brothers gonna know he's weak and he's shallow. Everybody gonna know his children, his offspring is also like that. Because of the household and how it's running. It's dysfunctional. So, yes, yeah. We need to have these discussions and conversations. So I know sisters, they have a problem with the word submission. That's another conversation we need to have. Submission. Yeah.
Why you think that? Why you think they don't like to submit to a man? What is the issue? What is the underlying issue?
I would say this: sisters that have been Muslim for some time, for some years, that have a tenure in Islam, they don't have a problem. Sisters who have come into Islam and maybe, depending on their practice and the knowledge in which they've acquired, they're going to bring baggages from the church. And the modern church today, with the female pastors and how the church prosperity gospel and everything, they don't even want to use the word submission anymore. So of course, if it's a negative light to them in the dunya, and if that concept hasn't been corrected, it's going to be a negative light in our sisters as well, right? And that's one of the reasons why not very many men are attending church anymore either, because there's no place for them. A lot of men feel like there's no place for them in the church anymore. So, you know, so when Imam Amin talks about the sisters are his best students, quote unquote, right? The sisters do this and the sisters do that. If we don't do something, we're going to wind up like the church, where the masjid is going to be just simply surrounded by sisters putting in work, and brothers just not coming to the masjid, not interested. My wife, you know, my wife handles everything. My wife takes them to the classes and whatnot, and we got to be careful.
We already there.
Yeah, we are. I'm trying not to give up hope. And I'm trying not to give Imam Amin any fuel.
No, I say the same thing. And and I've even spoken to Imam Fahim, same thing.
Same thing.
I noticed it a long time ago, as far as like the learning aspect. I remember 2 decades ago, and Samir always tell you, I always talk about this group of sisters that I taught, right? I never had a group of brothers like that. With the brothers is always a challenge, like, you know, why you got to be the one teaching. It's never about the information or nothing, right? The sisters come, you know, to learn. They come. The brothers, they'll come if you're already a superstar. You know, at that time, nobody, still ain't no superstar, but still, right? You know, I was just a brother at the masjid at the time. The sisters was coming for the information. They didn't care about the status of the one teaching, right? As long as he's not a rebel off to the side trying to do his own thing, the Imam said he could teach. And the sisters came to class. The brothers at that time, like I said, I'm talking about 20, 25 years ago, the brothers, well, who died and made you my teacher? I can just teach just as good as you, right? Like, Negro, you the student. What you talking about? You as a student. I already learned all of this, right? So I see from that to fast forward up until today, where, you know, I'm in charge of a community, and anytime you want to get things done, and you know, we always say the men are the logical thinkers, more pragmatic, whatever, and we always say that, but when it comes time to get stuff done, it'd be the women who's logical and pragmatic.
Yeah.
A lot of times the brothers want to philosophize about, okay, what if we don't do it that way, but if we do it a little bit this way, and how about we do it and philosophize and nothing gets done.
I agree with you. We have to turn the tide. We have to make room for young brothers and for brothers, period, to we have to make room and make things feel more like family. You know, if things can feel more like family, you'll never have a brother or a sister or a cousin or aunt feeling out of place. You never see that at a family reunion, someone feeling out of place. And that's what we need to get back to, a family, right? Just being like brothers and sisters, even though we may be apart, but our hearts are all together. And unfortunately, we had it at one point in time, but it was stripped from us, right? It was stripped from us within our Islamic communities. It was stripped from us, and then we were just enemies to one another. But I agree with you. The brothers can be some kind of way. We some interesting creatures, I must admit.
Can you elaborate? Yeah. Elaborate, brother.
Okay.
Yes, like at the picnic.
Right. So you want to have one? What about the brothers conversation, right? What about the brothers? All right. So, with brothers, we can be very combative with one another, right? So when we talk about this alpha male, each one of us is trying to establish a footing where we in this whole our hierarchy where we stand. So the imam is the imam, right? And you really gonna have this bumping of heads when you only have one imam at the masjid. Now, if you got multiple ones, then these cells will divide, and you will have those that find a liking with this imam and that imam. But the nature of men is to compete with one another, and that's even included in Islamic knowledge to a degree. I just wish we could keep it healthy, right? Likewise, when it comes to choosing a wife, or brothers will compete. So if you're a young brother and your friend is a young brother, whatever, we will compete. Not compete where we slashing each other tires and hope the brother don't make it to the sit down, but but we will compete, with the nicest stove, or the nicest oil, or the nicest resume, your jobs, or whatever, right? Or with the knowledge. You'll find brothers, they will come back to classes, right? If it's a prerequisite to more emphasis on the prerequisite of Islamic learning in order to get married, right? So like Abdul Kareem had said, having more expectations than just simply learning 4 surahs. If it was contingent on you being married, brothers would be there, right? So you come to class, sisters get in free, and brothers will be there. Brothers will be there. But we have to figure out a way to make it incentivize it. To get back to the point of what about the brothers, how the brothers our natures are. Brothers try to, when we're around one another, we have brothers try to feel out of each other as well, just like sisters do, but we don't take it to such an extreme. For brothers,
what you mean to such an extreme, Farouk?
What I mean by see, sisters will have frenemies, right? Sisters will have frenemies. Brothers, either I roll with you or I don't, and that's it. That's it. You not, and we quick to get the beta out, or the sympathizer, right? He's quick to be ostracized. Like, yo, this dude blows me every time he's around me. He always on that Oprah Winfrey Color Purple stuff, right? We don't do that. But men are men, right? I mean, we talk about what we talk about. We like what we like. There ain't no change in that. And but I would say with men, we have a certain code when we deal with each other, when we're talking or interacting. We know at a certain point in time, this thing can go left. So we try to keep decor with one another, right? Until somebody crosses the line. With women, y'all a little bit different, especially when y'all deal with men. It's like y'all have no fear because y'all know the law. You'll call the police if the brother, a man reaches out at you. But women's interactions are different with one another. Y'all across the line with each other and might come to fisticuffs, it might come to scratching and whatnot, or y'all just keep this sister just to keep her close, and brothers are not like that.
I don't do that. I do
that?
not. If I don't mess with you, I don't mess with you. Like, there's no fakeness. You could ask my husband. Like, I watch people, and I don't use them for pawns to get to an objective. I don't do that. I don't. It's this phony. You phony like that. Your whole situation is phony. It's nothing good comes out of that. And I do agree that women, they could be, like my husband say, catty and, act a certain way and act like they like you and all that stuff. I recognize that, stuff. And I just ignore it. I laugh, and you can tell how people react, act towards you or they try to exclude you, or they try to make you feel a certain way. And it's sort of like with the brothers, but I think with the brothers, do you think that somehow y'all can get together? Like, it don't have to be about competition. Like, y'all can come to a place where you're my brother, and I want, I want good for you. Do you think we can achieve that? With what we're doing right now with the PFR 3453 movement. Like, do you see that actually becoming something real? I see it. I see it.
I can see it too, and I think it's possible if as long as brothers put down their egos, accept brothers how they are when they come in, wherever they at, wherever they come from, and brothers are willing to extend the love to the next brother, right? Not just sitting there waiting for someone to recognize them or give them salams or to love on them, right? We just simply be brothers to one another. Like, I make it my purpose in the morning to salam one person, someone new or someone random in the post-morning Fajr reflection, just to give the salams, right? And so just so that they know that, someone on the other side sees them. I see your name, I see you. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. I think brothers can get there as long as we keep our so-called culture out, our negative culture out, right? Our counterproductive culture out. That if you bring that with you, if you bring the negative aspect of it, no, we're not gonna make it. We're gonna be divided and combative with one another, and it's gonna be ugly. It's gonna be ugly.
Alhamdulillah. You know that the Sarah, while you were talking, it reminded me of when the Muslims migrated to Medina. You know, you have the Muhajirun and the Ansar, right? And we need to have that in our mind. Like, when we went to Masjid Muhammad's barbecue, we were the Muhajirun and they were the Ansar. You understand? And once we got together, we formed a bond. Like, I formed bonds with sisters, you know what I mean? And it was like, that was like a hijra, even though we didn't physically move, but we did make a move to come together. We planned. And so that mindset, if you came there for a barbecue, that's all you got. That's what I was saying. If that's all you came for, you're not even gonna, appreciate all the love that you've seen on the stats under the pictures and all that. I know people got tired, like, why they keep, because the love was overflowing. You understand? It was, and if you were there for a negative reason, it got overshadowed by all the love. You understand? The shaitan was out there, but it overshadowed that. That wasn't the main, main event. The main event was love. We're family. And I truly believe that. You know what I mean? And that's the only way you can be. If you're real, you're going to attract those that are real as well. That's what, those hearts, those souls they're going to connect. And you know it. You know what I mean? So that's my advice. Keep it real. And real will find you.
Yeah, real recognize real. Real recognize real quick, And when we were up in Atlantic City, and Imam Amin and his wives, right? They made us, while we were there, we felt like we lived there. Even though they were the hosts, we felt like we lived here, we belonged here. If you came for just simply a barbecue, it wasn't that great.
Exactly.
So you might have just left there criticizing the food or how hot it was or how you had to walk across the street. I didn't notice none of those things. All I was there for was for my brothers and my sisters, and I enjoyed the look, even the travel. I didn't even care about the travel.
Mashallah.
And I'm sure it's the same way when they visit Pittsburgh and the other communities. Extends to Wichita and to Canada, right? And then we can keep this momentum going, and we just keep just like magnets, right? Hearts just simply become attracted, both brothers and sisters. But we need to bring the sisters are there. We need to bring brothers back to brotherhood. We need to bring the brothers back. I know a lot of times I sound like I'm talking at sisters or attacking sisters. I'm not. Brothers really need to come back to loving one another, being a family, being leaders in the community, and so that the sisters can take a break.
SubhanAllah. I got a question here. This child, it's like, what you got to say, Habibi?
I'll let her dad answer that question.
You milled it, Habibi.
Can you explain what submission should look like for a woman?
Yeah. The answer to that question is to stop asking, can you explain what submission should look like for a woman? That's it. That's the answer to the question. I believe that one is for you, Farouk.
Oh, okay. Well, submission, what can you explain what submission should look like for a woman? Well, number one, I'm not a woman, right? I'm not a woman. So how I would say submission would look like as far as my observation, it is a woman that is following the lead or management of her husband, having full confidence in his management skills for the family or just them two, or even for herself, right? Suggesting something for her. And even with objection, even with her objection to a thing, she capitulates, she follows. If you want a better synonym than submission, use whatever you like, but that is what it would look like, smell like, taste like to me. So that doesn't mean that, I tell you what submission doesn't look like for a woman. It doesn't mean that she's the one that's responsible for the children all the time, right? Especially if he is able to. It doesn't mean that she's the one that's responsible for food, preparing meals, especially if he is able to, right? And when I say able to, I mean, you know, he can cook and logistically speaking as well. What submission does not look like is a woman who has to have a husband, the head of the household, but yet she is operating as if she is the head of the household. She is in her masculine nature. Meanwhile, he's over here in his feminine nature, not leading, indecisive, and not being who he's supposed to be. So I hope that answers the question, what submission looks like to me and what submission does not look like for a woman.
I will just add that what submission looks like to me is Samira, my wife.
Okay.
If you look at how we interact, she don't agree with everything.
Mm-hmm.
If she has a problem, she voices her opinion, and she can tell me why.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A lot of people think, you know, we make jokes because, like we mentioned earlier, coming to America, what type of music do you like? Whatever kind of music you like. What kind of food do you like? Whatever kind of food you like, right? That's not necessarily submission, right? No. Like you can have your own mind, but you know, submission is that she recognizes your leadership, and she also pushes the cause. In other words, you know, you have a family, you have a goal, you're working towards something, right? Submission don't mean you just sit there and do nothing, right? Submission, even a submissive wife assumes leadership because she is a leader. She's the co-pilot, right? A lot of people think submission means to just shut up and ride. It don't necessarily mean that. Just play your part, and your part is number 2. The man is number 1. In Islam, we don't say that. We don't bite our tongue when we say that. We have a hierarchy. A submissive Muslim woman recognizes the hierarchy in the Muslim family, and she doesn't try to buck the system. Even though she can be assertive, she can be, she can be capable. Mm-hmm. She can be all of that, but she's not trying to be the leader,
right?
Even though she is a leader,
right? And these roles are sort of catered to our natural inclinations as men and women. With the wife being conducting herself in her role in the household, it allows her to be in her feminine nature. And likewise for the men, it allows him to be in his feminine nature, and these natures get exercised properly and not at one another. Where now you coming at her all masculine and aggressive, and she's coming at you with her feminine energy, which, brothers, you really ain't prepared if you to deal with. And instead of exercising at one another, it is exercised out properly in the family for growth and nurture. Samir, what do you say submission is? I know this was addressed to me and Naeem.
I agree with what you said. I think the most important to really submit, to consider your husband the leader, even when he makes mistakes, you allow him to do that. Give him that room, because it's in the man's nature to be the leader, right? And if you're like nagging and always trying to correct him, that infeminizes him. So allow him to make the mistake. Like I've heard, people say, if you're driving and he's going the wrong way, let him go the wrong way. He'll find his way. Eventually you nagging in the, passenger seat is not going to help. That's going to make him, he's going to be more, annoyed with you. And the trip is not going to be enjoyable because you're sitting there like, why you didn't take this turn? I told you, didn't I say, and the way you talk, the way you speak to your spouse is so important. Like, mind your tone, mind your words. They are not your child. The husband is not your child. Yet we treat your spouse as though that's your child. No, you are partners, right? And you don't have to agree, but you give him that respect as a man so that, he feel confident in his position. Because just like a manager or a supervisor, they're really not doing their job if those under him are not able to grow and flourish and, and benefit from their leadership. It's not being overbearing and, looking down on them and just giving them directions to do what they do. No, this is a partnership. I'm nurturing you as well, from my leadership, and I'm supporting you on my end, to make sure you are able to do what you want to do. You don't have to worry about me being your enemy. The enemy is outside. Here, we're allies.
Right, we good. Yeah.
So
before we move on to the next point,
I just want to add something real quick. When you look at books of Islamic government like Ahkam al-Sultaniyya or the Shaykh's book, Bayan al-Wujub al-Hijra, and other books like that, like Abdullahi Danfodio's book, Deel Hukam, The Light of Islamic Governors, they talk about in the leadership structure the concept of the wazir. And it's mentioned in the Quran, in Surah Taha. Prophet Musa asked for a wazir min ahli, from his family. And then Allah made Prophet Harun a prophet based upon the dua of Prophet Musa, right? But they talk about the role of the wazir. And a phrase that you hear repeated often is that he awakes the Amir when he's sleeping. Because the concept, and I'm saying this because that's the role of the wife in the family. Like a lot of times, the wazir, he's more closer to the ground than the leader is. So he's going to get more information, and his finger is more on the pulse of what's going on than the leader himself. And so that wazir, if he's a good wazir, he's going to inform the Amir about what he can't see because he's so high up there, or about the stuff that's going on that the people are not letting him see because he's the leader. Mm-hmm. And so a corrupt wazir will manipulate information, hold back information in order to leverage himself into a more powerful position. Mm-hmm. So it's the same thing with a submissive wife. A submissive wife is the same thing. She's more closer to the grassroots about what's going on in her family. Because especially if a man is doing his job, he's not an Xbox dude, right? So she's more in touch with what's going on. Mm-hmm. Now, as a wife, she can keep that information and not feed it to her husband, or she can leverage it for her own leadership, trying to take over the family, trying to be the man. So, like, there's a corollary. There's a lot of corollaries between Islamic government structure and Islamic family structure, and that's just another one. Like, sometimes a submissive wife have to talk to her husband in a language that he understands. Sometimes that may be yelling, but she won't do that in front of everybody else, in front of the children, whatever. Yeah. Same thing with the wazir. The wazir, wouldn't talk to the Amir like that in front of everybody else, but he might do it behind closed door. Like, listen, Negro, you're not paying attention, man. I'm telling you, right? You need to do X, Y, and Z. You acting stupid, man. You don't see that over there, right? Sometimes somebody may need to talk to him like that, right? Mm-hmm. But he knows when to talk like that. Same thing with the wife, right? So I just wanted to add that in there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Samira, something came to mind as far as this question from Khadija, as far as the term submission. I think women, and this just came to mind. I think women have a problem with this term of submission because it's the same word in which we use when we speak about submitting to Allah. So when we say submission, and then a woman's mind may go to that submission to Allah. We're using the same sort of word and terminology, but even though it's a different sense, but we're using the same wording. And I think it's best that we find a way of expressing ourselves that isn't so abrasive for sisters to understand. It's so abrasive that they, whatever submission means to in a Muslim marriage, I don't want no part of it. I'm gonna submit to Allah and that's it. So we need to find some other way of expressing it. So if that's subordination, if that is being the Minister of Interior, whatever you want to say, or however Imam Naeem says it, that's what it is. But
I agree. Yeah. I agree. I think there's the negative connotation that's attached to it, submitting, because there are men that expect a woman to submit to them and they do not submit to Allah or their family. You understand? So it's like, it's a contradiction there. Like, I don't have any respect. How do I respect you or submit to you or obey you? And you don't obey your Lord. You don't even obey the one that it just, not that makes that an excuse. That's why you gotta watch who you marry. You can't marry just anybody. You understand? And so it's, you gotta be careful how you select that person, because you're gonna be dealing with a whole lot. And you, like we said earlier in the show, you're not gonna be able to change them. Now we all at the 2-hour mark, but what did you want to
Well, I wanted to ask you a question because you kind of like brought the topic full circle. So let me ask you a question, Samira, in the audience. So you have a brother that is all those qualities, submitting to Allah, is dutiful servant to Allah and everything, but he has weaknesses or he falls short in his finances. Could you still submit to him? Would that submission be a problem? Before you began this contingency plan in your head. All right.
I could say Samira, she still supports because I'm still the brokest brother on the East Coast.
Well, I'm asking her directly, but I wasn't meaning your household. I wasn't meaning your household.
No, that
when you interact with the sisters, and there's sisters that want to get married, or sisters that are calling you because they got to get their husbands out of the tree because he's all upset about something, right? So
yeah, I don't have any problem with that. I don't, because I know who I married, and I know he has my back. So when he's good, I know I'm good. And if he's not good, and I can make sure that he's good, then so be it. I know that's not the basis of our relationship. Like, I'm carrying it. I'm not carrying it. I choose to, because I know that's what's the best thing to do. That's the best thing to do for that situation, and it's not going to harm me in doing that. It's only going to give me more reward for supporting them. Like, you have some women, they want to sabotage they husband. Like, oh, you can't hold it down? I'm just going to let this whole thing just burn down because you can't hold, just to get at him. Like, it don't make any sense. So you rather destroy yourself, your family, your children, whatever's connected, and just to make a point that he's weak. Like, I think that's that woman right there is weak. That's a weak woman.
Okay. All right. So Mary, I've asked you many questions tonight, and on some of them you said not me, not us, not you and your husband. So let me ask you the question now. With everything that you've said so far, how confident do you feel that sisters are raising their daughters to be wives for your sons? You said everything doesn't apply to you. I'm not like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Imam Naeem told me he was broke. I'm not like that. He could be selling oranges and turtles, and he's still the head of my household. So I want to know, how confident do you feel sisters are raising their daughters to be wives for your sons?
Raising their daughters to be wives for my sons?
For your sons.
Whew, I don't know. I'm not. Well, how can I say it? I don't know enough of people to make that determination, but it's hard out here. It's difficult to raise. It's difficult to raise children in this environment. It's hard to answer that. Like, we're like in survival mode. You understand? So it's just, let me just just try to get this child through school, and just it's not even looking that far ahead. I'm just trying to raise them and teach them to be able to survive. That's it. Not to be someone's wife or somebody's husband. It's just, it's like, we got to get through this and build the type of communities and environments to that that support that. Like, right now, we just trying to get it there. You know what I mean? And if everybody's on board, yeah, you're going to have some issues, but at least you have that. You're insulated by this family now. The family that we have built, right, organically, so to support future generations. So for right now, we're just trying to just get over that hump, because we there, right? We're here.
We're here now.
We're here now. We understand nothing we can do about that. But at least in the future, we have some safety net. You understand? Some support, something, contingencies in place, so that we make sure, okay, this is how we're going to establish communities and, wherever you are located, so that you don't have to wonder if this family here got a good, a daughter or son that's marriage material. You won't have to worry about that because y'all all on the same page and y'all committed to raise your family on that mission like everybody else. So that's how I would answer that, because it's kind of hard now because we're building that.
So the short answer is not very confident.
Not very confident right now. No, but it's doable. It's doable. You're just going to have to go through the bumps and the scratches until you get it right.
All right. Imam Naeem, how confident do you feel that brothers are raising sons to marry your daughters?
When Samira was answering, I'm going to tell you what I was thinking.
Okay.
SubhanAllah. As an imam of people physically in Pittsburgh, and also an imam of people all around the country recognize me as their imam, both locally and around the country. All I see is destruction of the family. There's no even room for that question. I mean, I just look around me. I'm like, damn, another family down. Another one down. SubhanAllah. That one is on the brink. It's going to go any month now. That one's down. This is what I'm seeing. It's looking real bad. And so fathers or mothers raising their sons for our daughters or their daughters for our sons. With most of our people right now, raising children is the last thing on their mind. They have children, they're putting food in their stomach, they're putting clothes on their back, but actually raising the children, that's an afterthought to most of our people. The children usually end up becoming pawns in a beef between the former husband and the former wife. That's what I see almost all across the board. Because in my opinion, a lot of times this starts because everything that we talked about earlier about compatibility and choosing the right spouse. Most people when they get married, they're not thinking like that. They're just trying to get married. And they don't never see the after effects of just getting married to someone, right? And so X amount of children down the line, right? It's just sad. Like sometimes you have your children and there's other children in the community with y'all, and then you feel okay, they're the same age, they're growing up together. Maybe when they get a little older, our families get intermarried with one another. Then before that happens, boom, the marriage gets destroyed. And then the children are used in this tug of war. And then the children ain't part of the community no more. And 9 times out of 10, the children is being raised to hate daddy. And, we ain't coming around there no more because that's daddy's people, right? And so this is what I'm seeing most of the time. So like, that question opened up a whole can of worms for me.
All right. Sorry about that. But I had to ask.
What's your thoughts on your own question? How confident are you? Because you are a parent.
Right. Yeah. It is apparent that I'm a parent. I'm gonna answer the question both as far as suitable wives for my sons and suitable husbands for my daughters. As far as suitable wives for my sons, we need some work as far as young girls being raised to transition as they transition into womanhood to become wives. We need some work. As the girls transition into womanhood, I see a lot in our community, like Imam Naeem just mentioned. Families go apart, single parent households, both male and female, but mostly female. And the young girls just simply are allowed to do their thing. Mom does her best or none at all. Some mothers are outstanding and, you know, hold things down. But to be honest, most of them, when it comes to the girls, they wind up being competition or just simply um, something in which they need to just get out of the way. Let me get them married, let me get her out my house, or just do whatever, just don't bother me. And so when it comes to the outlooks of my sons, finding a wife that a woman in which I would marry is rough. It's rough pickings. It's rough pickings out here. And I know the sisters say the same thing when it comes to brothers. Now I'm gonna answer the question as it relates to my daughters and the prospects of brothers out there. I would say brothers and sisters, husbands and wives, they have high expectations for their sons, and especially early on in a young boy's life, they will push him as far as learning and achieving. It's there, right? A lot of the young men just simply fall between the cracks, but some do hold on. I see more potential in young men being husbands for my daughter than I do young women being wives for my sons. And I hate saying that. I hate saying that. But that's what I see. That's what I see.
Yeah, that's been real. Alhamdulillah. Thank you for bringing up this topic, suggesting this topic, Brother Farouk, and your participation.
Thank you for popping it up on me.
That wasn't planned. I was going to make sure that you would participate one way or another, but I thought this was more appropriate.
Right. So you just wanted to make sure that he ain't just making comments. I'm gonna catch him off guard. See if he knows what he's talking about.
Nah. You had to carry this one because this is something I had to look up. I never heard of that term until you mentioned it last week. One thing I wanted to add on this note, coming from a woman, what we look in addition to what I mentioned as far as looking things to look for in a mate, we want protection, physical protection. That is a rare thing to acquire these days. Like I say it all the time. I do not feel safe when I'm in the street by myself and there's other men around. When I'm with my husband, I'm good. He got me, right? But when other men are around, I'm talking about Muslim men, I do not feel safe. I feel like I have to take charge and make sure that I'm okay. I can't rely on the brothers. And I think that's something that needs to be brought back. The brothers protecting their women. Like we need protection. And I know sisters like, well, I can handle my own. I got my peace. It's not even about that. This is the role of the man, is to protect his family, to protect the woman, to protect his family, protect the children. That's his role. Let him play that role. Let him, be a man full capacity, not just the supporting financial support, but everything else. That's what makes a well-rounded man. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is that men be involved with their children. We have a bad habit, brothers dropping seeds all over the place, and they don't have any connection with their children, as though they were just like piece of trash to throw on the ground and never think about it. I used it and that's it. I was with the mother. I ain't with her no more. I don't love her. But y'all got kids together. You treating them like trash as well? Like, we got to stop that cycle. It's got to stop. Inshallah. Yeah, Farouk, you can come on back anytime if you want. This is the first time we had a guest. We had Khadija on. I don't think we ever had any other guest on here. I thought this was appropriate, right? This is it. You special, Brother Farouk. Alhamdulillah, you family. Alhamdulillah.
Y'all family to me too.
Alhamdulillah. But anything you want to say before we close out? Any closing words? Either one of you.
Words. I love all of y'all, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Mashallah. 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 Imam, have any closing words? I know it's late there, and I apologize, but we had to do this. Mashallah.
Alhamdulillah, the love is mutual, Farouk. And yeah, it's 2:51 a.m. out here.
Well, you ain't gotta go to work. You gotta go to work. You can just take a long swimming nap.
I got some people that's trying to make me work out here. So I'm working Jandia.
Put them to work. Put them to work. Alhamdulillah, I want to thank everyone for participating. We appreciate your input. This show wouldn't have been anything without your support. Let's make dua for all those that are sick, all those that are returned to Allah, all those that are still here, trying to get through this life. Let's recite Surah Al-Fatiha. Alhamdulillah. Juma Mubarak. Alhamdulillah. Don't forget to recite Surah Al-Kahf. Don't forget to send abundant prayers upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and don't forget the ummah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So with that being said, subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk wal asra innal insana lafi khusra illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihati wa tawassaw bil haqqi wa tawassaw bis sabr. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.